Today we're sitting down with Dubzy, an artist pushing out raw psychedelic vibes straight from Sioux Falls. His sound drifts between hypnotic and heavy, weaving stories that hit whether you're riding high or facing the lows. This is the voice behind some of the trippiest underground tracks right now. Welcome Dubzy to the show. This program is part of the Scene Projects Podcast Network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is my brother, Dubzy. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Bubba. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, a long time coming. You played a couple of shows with Starts and Ends in the last year, and it was finally time to make sure that we get you on the show and talk about your music. So welcome. I'm sorry it took me so long.
Oh, that's all right, man. People are busy. Everyone's got stuff to do.
And we have no lack of content coming out. So sometimes it just gets, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it gets to be a lot. That's for sure.
That is the biz.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, give us a little bit of backstory on you before we talk about all the new music that you've been pumping out and things that you got coming up. I know you got a big show in October. So go ahead and give us a little bit of your backstory, man. The floor is yours.
How we doing? My name is Wilson Trent, and a lot of people may know me as that, but you can also call me Dubzy. I am a self-taught multi-instrumental solo musician, a bassist first. I started in a 3-piece thrash metal band called Insanity Strikes. Shout out to you guys wherever you are. My first gig with them, and indeed my first time on stage on bass, was at the opening 15 minutes of one of the Eat Your Face metal feasts at Big's Bar. I believe it was one that Blue Felix headlined. I'll never forget it. So after parting ways with them, I got together with some good buddies with the intention on starting a punk rock band. I like a lot of genres. I had the name Ear Infection in mind ever since high school anyway. So that project was kind of short-lived, and I was making ends meet delivering DoorDash. This was right around the time of the COVID scare in 2020. I was out there delivering that food and those groceries, helping to do my part. I was also apprenticing to tattoo under my stepfather-in-law and mentor, Steve Butterfield. I knew him first as Alien at Alien & Company, just off First Avenue by the railroad tracks. He helped me to become more of a man, to stand up for myself, to work hard, get a bit of a spine, and to perfect more of my graphic art. It was Steve who got me in touch with some guys who were seeking a bass player. Later on, I found myself rehearsing with the ever eclectic rock house band, and they were supportive. It was a stepping stone, and I'll never forget the band camaraderie. And even though I'm not with them now, I still have collabs with some of the people I jammed with back then too. I've got more. Do you want to interject with a question or two first?
Keep going, man. I like it.
Awesome. As part of the Rock House band, like I said, I experienced band camaraderie. And even though I'm not with them now, the people I jammed with, the friends I made, the places I played, will never forget. We honored the recently passed, at that time, Cosmo at the Terrace Park Band Shell. That is where I played my heart out, and I just happened to also be playing to my future wife, my heart, soul, and muse. And the Dubzy content and passion started when I was in an alternative band in 2023. I was learning how to use a digital audio workstation for the first time and got captivated by the process. I began to record solo jams, sometimes on my looper, sometimes straight through. I couldn't get enough of these studies. It just kind of exploded in my mind after that. I learned not only what a key in music was, why it was so important, but so much, much more, how they work, all that stuff. Sure, I loved music before, especially rock and metal, but when Dubzy began, I began to live and breathe music.
That's great, man. I love where you come from. Obviously, a lot of different influences than where I've come from, right? So that's why it was kind of thrilling to me to have you come and play some shows with my band, Starts and Ends, because you brought a much different kind of take and feel to a lot of like classic rock and country stuff that I play. So it
I
really
love
gave
bringing
us
the
a different
energy.
vibe. And yeah, man, I've enjoyed every show that we've gotten to play together, and I hope we get a
Same.
chance to do even more of it. I love the sounds
Absolutely.
that you push out with the Dubzy persona. It's different, right? And it
It
hits
is
different than
just
anything.
it's different. That's right.
Well, it's hard to put it into a box, right? It's hard to define it as a genre. I know off the top when, I asked ChatGPT who is Dubzy, that it kind of fed it a lot of psychedelic sounds, which I don't, not hear, especially like early psychedelic, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
not the
Big
later
on
stuff
the
that you may
90s.
think of. Yeah, the early,
The
very
90s era was
experimental.
golden. Absolutely. So,
Awesome stuff.
yeah, I've got a little more. Dubsy, come from the spooky, or come for the spooky, stay for the groovy is the new slogan I'm trying out.
I like it. I like it, man. That's a great it explains it. And where your music may go a little spooky and a little dark, you're very affable person, right? You're always smiling, you're always very happy, you've been very cordial
Yeah,
to everyone that that I've seen you with or perform with. And it's fun to kind of juxtapose that towards some of the music that will be a little heavier and a little, a little, I would say aggressive,
absolutely.
where in person you're not aggressive at all, really.
I like to get under people's skin sometimes with my audio. I like to bring to mind things that people know about, but maybe not necessarily have the awareness. We're talking things like mental illnesses, monsters, of course, things that bump in the night, and a lot of other things. I definitely go for a different sound in a lot of my content. I bend genres. Usually stick to alternative slash heavy rock. I'm getting better with my singing voice too. Time and time, it just gets so much better. I'm so excited. Uh,
Well, and you have to do it, right? And being a bass player in a lot of these kind of punk rock or prog rock, kind of bands and different things that you're playing in, you're not always the front man for that. But with
right.
Dubzy, you're not just the front man, you're also the bass and the guitar, and you're making drum
Doing
loops.
it all, baby.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really fun for me when it comes down to talking about the live show. So how
Yes.
is it, you mentioned the loop pedal. Are you also kind of performing with tracks in the live show and bringing all of these sounds together while still just being one man on stage?
Right. So actually, this ties right into what I've got prepared for this
Mhm.
section. I've been prepping hard for this upcoming show. Anyone who's heard Dubzy can probably tell you Halloween's the vibe. My music is generally about those things, difficult, abstract, sometimes scary things. I struggle under mental illness, and I've got a crazy good stage show planned. It's going to be great. So a little bit about that performance is I am preparing video graphics, non-AI based, all human made, some borrowed from the public domain with proper credit given. They'll be projected like they were in my last show, up against the stage, bathing me in that colorful light. And my sound, I prepared special live versions of the songs I'm going to play so that not only does the live experience continue to be as variable compared to the recording version, the studio version, but also so that I can have my special guests. I have my lovely wife, Day. I have Mark Hendricks coming up to join me in my set. And yes, it may be backing tracks, and I understand there's a stigma about those in some parts. All I'm saying is check it out, man. You won't be disappointed.
Well, and I think it just kind of depends on what the tracks are, what the show is. I think we're all pretty accepting of what what that people play to tracks, right? And that people play to tracks with their vocals on it since the Milli Vanilli days, right? I don't know if you're even old enough to remember that.
I'm trying hard not to break that illusion. I'm recording video here and there of me playing all the different parts just to kind of keep it together, keep it known that I am the authentic source of these tracks and they are prepared with care for this performance.
I think that's really cool. And I think it's great that you bring attention to that as well, because a lot of people won't see the work that goes into that. So being able to capture some of that and then incorporate that into the live show is like, no, this is me recording that track. I just had to do it before because I didn't have time to train someone else necessarily how to do it just like I wanted it done to be here for a live show. So I think that's really cool. And I think not just doing it, but bringing attention to it, because a lot of people, I think, kind of give into the stigma where they want to hide from it and they want to pretend like it's not something that it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Follow what the cool thing is to not like or like, I just do me, man.
Yes, you do. And that's what I appreciate about you the most, is that you're not trying, while the reason it's so hard to fit your music inside of a box is that you don't try to fit your music inside of any box. Even though you are from the punk rock or heavy metal world, you're not trying to make your sound fit into one or the other. You're right. Telling everyone, and you're going out and doing it exactly like you said, right? Is that I'm going to mix these things together. I'm going to take all these influences and these different ingredients that are up on the shelf of Dubzy, and I'm going to pour them all in a pot and see what happens. And each song becomes its own recipe.
Absolutely, it does. I look at all of my songs, whether they're polished as much as they can be, or if they need a little work, I look at them as more of my children. They grow just like people. Over time, as we gain our knowledge, as we hone our skills, our songs grow, as well as I do.
Totally. And there's songs, that I've had in my repertoire that I wrote 20 years ago that don't sound like the same song, depending on who I'm playing it with. If I'm playing it solo, if maybe I've ad-libbed a lyric since I wrote it, that's different now. And I love that you're really bringing something different than just the recorded tracks of the studio versions. I love that you're remaking some of these and making live versions. And even though they're recorded on tracks, that you're getting a live feel for these things and you're able to bring up special guests. There's so much that goes into all of this that I think it's really cool that you recorded some of the process and then incorporating that in the show to kind of show people. I think that's just a really cool take on the whole thing.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. In fact, to build on that, at this Halloween show, there is one song on our set that you'll never hear on streaming services, never hear on a CD. It is only live, and people are going to go nuts.
I love it. Well, let's tell everybody where they can come see that October show one more time and where they can find you.
Good-natured on East 8th Street, Sioux Falls. We have a Halloween show. Dubzy in the headliner that evening. But playing before me are our special guests, Experimental, who has also got a trippy vibe. They've got something pretty stellar planned, and The Grave itself, who I believe is connected with Good Natured in a very nice way. And it's $5 at the door, all ages. Music starts at 7 p.m. And yeah, it's going to be a great time, man. October 31st, Good Natured Sioux Falls. Shout out to Shannon.
That's awesome, man. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great show, some really awesome music, something
Oh, yeah.
different for music fans in Sioux Falls. I capitalize a lot off of, the music that I played just being popular in general. But I love that you guys are doing something totally different. Halloween's a great time for that.
Oh,
Tap
yeah.
into that spooky energy. And I hope you guys have a great time at the show. Dubzy, thanks for being part of the Starts and Ends family. And thanks for being part of the scene, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bubba. Do you mind if I close out with some shout outs?
Go ahead, man. Shout them out.
Hey, thank you, man. So I am a full solo act, Dubzy, but also I want to shout out to my current other band project, Indigents. It's a psychedelic grunge up and coming 3-piece band. Of course, your boy plays bass. Shout out to Zach, Julian, and Callie. You guys are awesome. We'll get back to work in the rehearsal room real soon. Shout out to my mom, my dad in heaven, my lovely wife Day Steyer, our kiddos, all my new and existing family. Mark Hendricks, B. Salo, Dawson Lee, and thank you, Bubba, for having me and, of course, giving me these opportunities to fill on bass for your solo material as well. Really appreciate it.
Awesome, Dubzy. Well, thank you so much, brother. We'll see you soon.
Heck yeah, you can find me on all the platforms, streaming services, YouTube, or just come down on Halloween.